Hello and welcome. I am Maria. I have a 30-minute class for you today called Hip Quickie. So as you can imagine, this is a hip-focused class. We will be working on strengthening our hips while also moving through different ranges of motion. For class, you might need 2 blocks, and I hope you enjoy. I'll see you on your mat. Begin at the top of your mat, feet hip-width distance apart. Spread your toes, ground the center of your heel down into your mat. We'll move through 3 half Surya Namaskar A's just to warm up the body and move with your breath. So let's inhale, reach your arms up. And then as you exhale, soften your knees, hinge your hips, forward fold. I like to take my hands to blocks here just to have an extra point of connection. As you inhale, press into your floor or your blocks, lengthen your spine, look down at your toes. Exhale, soften the knees, belly to thighs, forward fold. You can release your arms, grab onto opposite elbows, and just hang out here for a couple of breaths. You might sway side to side. Eventually coming back to center. Release your arms, bend your knees as you weight your weight back into your heels, roll up to stand. Stacking your hips over your ankles, your shoulders over the hips, and we'll move through that 2 more times. So inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, soften belly to thighs, forward fold, Uttanasana. Press down to lift, Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift. Exhale, soften belly to thighs. Weight back into your heels, roll up to stand. Inhale, reach the arms up. We'll come down through that half Surya Namaskar 1 more time. Forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Let your head go. Let the back of your neck be long. Last time we'll roll up here. Stacking hips over ankles, shoulders over hips. Reach the arms up, inhale. Exhale, hands come down. So let's take it into a soft chair pose. We'll take the feet hip-width distance apart still. Soften into your knees and bring your hands to your hips. From here, let's lift the right heel up off of the floor. Start to transfer weight into your left foot and then see if you can come up onto the very tip of your right toe. When you feel stable, begin to lift this right knee up, standing tall. So we'll keep a soft bend in this standing left leg. We're trying to keep the hips still and even. So if you're noticing your right hip is hiking up, bring it down. And then using your hands for stability, begin to open your right hip out to the side. On your exhale, swim your knee into center, bend your left knee more, and squeeze your inner thighs together. Let's do that again. Inhale, swim the knee out. Keep your foot flexed the whole time. Swim the knee back in. Left knee is soft, squeeze the thighs. 1 more time, open it. And close the hip. Squeeze. As you open your hip, we're going to take this into a figure 4. So use your left foot, stack it on top of your knee. And then you might adjust that top leg to the thigh. This is a great place to stay, just trying to stabilize, feeling the wiggles in your standing foot. If you want a little bit more, begin to sit down like you're going back into a chair. And then maybe your forearms can come to your inner shin bone. If you'd like to go even further, you might slide your hands down to blocks. And if your hands come down to blocks or maybe down to the floor, we're trying to get this shin bone high on the arms. And then once your leg gets high up there, you can hook your foot around your legs. Stay here. Breath is steady and even. If we start to lose that connection to the breath, that's a good sign that we need to come out and come back to a previous step. We'll stay for one more breath. And then rewind, begin to walk back up, uncross the leg. Whew. You feel that left thigh is working. You can tap your IT bands, shake your hips out. Maybe noticing right away, like, does one side feel different? Maybe your body's asking for the other side. So we'll go there. This time we'll balance on the right foot. Spread your right toes, ground your heel down. Let's peel the left heel up. Soften this right knee a little bit, your standing leg. Find stability in your hips. Keep them stable as your left knee begins to lift up. Flex your foot. When you're ready, use the thigh. Open the hip joint. Exhale, swim the knee in. Squeeze your thighs together. Let's do that 2 more times. Swim the knee open. Swim the knees closed. Squeeze your thighs. 1 more time. Open your hip joint. Close your hip joint. Inhale, open it up. Get ready to take that figure 4 left ankle on top of your right knee. Adjust that foot. And then stay here. Just feel that external rotation of the thigh. You could press into the inner thigh. If you're like, I need a little bit more, you can just sit down into that chair. Maybe bringing forearms to the inner shin bone. Maybe you'd like to go further and reach down for your blocks. Once the elbows start to work lower than the shin, you can begin to play with hooking your toes around the outer arm. Reconnect with your breath. Slow and steady breathing. The breath is what's important. These are just the obstacles along the way. Can we keep calm and steady through the turbulence of our postures, through the turbulence of our lives? Finish your breath here. Stay for the exhale. And then when you're ready, can we reverse the movement? Like we've hit the rewind button. We come back. We come back. We uncross the legs. Step the foot down. Shake it out. Circle the hips. Maybe tapping the IT bands. Full breath. All right, let's come to the top of the mat. Take an inhale, reach your arms up. As you exhale, bend your knees forward, fold belly to thighs. Inhale, press halfway lift. Exhale, let's step the right leg back. We'll set up for Anjaneyasana, low lunge. So drop that back knee down and then lift your arms up. And as you rise up, feel this inspired lift. We create stability through the lower legs by drawing the hips back, stacking the right hip over top of your right knee. Feeling this connection to the low belly lift up through the chest. On your next exhale, we'll take cactus arms. So bend your elbows, lift the chest up and through. Feel the shoulder blades slide up your back. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bring your hands back down to your blocks. We'll walk them inside your left foot and then heel toe your left foot to the outer edge of the mat. We'll rock back and forth into the hips here. Option to lower your blocks down or bring your hands to the floor. And we'll start to circle the hips. Drawing big circles with your tailbone. You might switch direction. And the next time you come to center, let's lean back. Start to peel your left toes up for Ardha Hanumanasana, half split. And I'm going to bring my blocks right underneath my shoulders. Feeling that stretch through the back of your hamstring. Keep the knees soft, softly bent. Stay for one more breath. All right, bend your left knee, place the foot back down, walk your hands forward under your shoulders as you lean forward, and then walk your back leg back a little bit so that you're on the top of the knee and not on your kneecap. This left thigh keeps hugging in towards your arms. And then from here, we can take it into a twist. I'm going to lower my right hand block to the lowest setting. And then I'll take my left hand to my left thigh and start to twist. The right side of my waist comes underneath me as the top part of my chest lifts open. Notice if you're dumping into your bottom shoulder, press and lift out of your shoulder. And then if you want more of a stretch through your back right leg, through the front of the quad, you can try to bend your right knee, maybe point your toe. And then from here, reach your left arm up. As you exhale, circle your top arm back and see if you can reach for the foot. If you can't, that's okay, right? It's just intention, knowing that one day, it's not today, and that's okay. Finish your breath. If you're holding on, gently let go, and then release, circle your top arm back underneath your shoulder. Using your blocks or your floor to press you out of your back knee. So lift that back knee up, and let's bend this knee. Start to rock forward and back like you're about to pounce forward, because you are. So on your next breath, let's take a big step to the outside of the right block. Nice wide stance, turn your toes to parallel, and then inhale, press to lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Release your upper body down. Staying in this forward fold. Let's take the hands at the back. You can grab onto your wrists, or if you feel like you have space here, interlace your fingers to the webbing. Hang heavy through the back of the neck. And then bring the awareness to your shoulder blades. Let's squeeze the shoulder blades together. Keep the shoulders back and away from the ears, and then try to reach your knuckles up for the ceiling. Awesome. Release your hands down. Let your elbows melt down your sides. Hands come back down to your blocks. Bend your knees. Let's rise up to a standing position. Now we're in a wider stance. So the feet are a little bit wider than outer hip width distance apart, right? So the feet are a bit wider than my hips, a bit wider than your hips. And then turn your toes out slightly. And we're coming down to a malasana prep. So take your hands to your hips, take a breath in, lift with your chest. And as you exhale, bend your knees. Start to sit down into this wide-legged squat. So your knees are in line with the hips. Your knees are in line with your toes. You can bring your hands to your thighs as you sit down here. And feel this still inspired lift through your chest. Now we'll play bringing the hands off the thighs. See if you still feel stable. And then take your hands to the insides of your knees. Keep pressing into the outer edges of your feet, but then press your hands into your inner knees and press your inner knees back into your hands. Feel that resistance. Wonderful. Take your hands to the outsides of the knees. Press the knees into the backs of the hands. Keep rooting down into your big toe mound knuckle. Bring it to the inside, resist, stable through both sides of the foot, through both feet. Press into the backs, and then release. Let's lengthen up, turn the toes parallel, Reach the arms up, inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, press halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Let the upper body go. We'll press to lift halfway. This time, step your left leg back. Set up for that low lunge on the other side. So when you're ready, bring yourself up, inspired lift through the arms. And then reconnect to the core. Draw the hips back. Stack that left hip over top of your left knee. And then lift up through the chest. On your next exhale, cactus your arms. Pull the chest up and through. Shoulder blades glide up your back. Inhale, reach the arms up. Bring your hands back down. So taking your blocks inside your right leg, widen your right foot this time. And then we'll settle into this lizard pose. Walking your back knee back in space, melting into the hip. And then find some movement here. Begin to circle the hips back and around. You might alternate in direction. Come through center as you lean forward. Lengthen your spine. And on your next exhale, guide your hips straight back. Begin to straighten through your right leg. Peel the right toes up and keep a soft bend in this leg. Feel that stretch from the back of the knee down to your ankle, from the back of the knee up to the thigh, walking the hands underneath your shoulders. Create more length. Finish this breath. Stay for the exhale. And then soften your front knee. Walk your blocks forward. Place your right foot back down. We'll move into that twist. So my left hand is on my block. My right hand comes to my right thigh, and I begin to turn my chest towards this bent knee. Feel the underside of the ribs moving underneath you and lifting your chest. Come out of your left shoulder. And then if you want that stretch in your back thigh, maybe try to bend this back knee and see what happens. Maybe it goes right back down. Right? Maybe you're able to hold it there. Try pointing your toe of the back foot. We'll reach the top arm up. On your next exhale, reach that top arm back for the foot. And again, you may or may not be able to grab it. Don't force anything. Just stay with your intention. And if you are holding, gently release. If you're not, just let it go back down. Unwind your arms. Bring your right arm forward and down underneath you. Bring your hips back. Tuck your back toes and lift off your back knee. Soften that back knee and begin to rock forward and back. Taking that pounce to the top of the mat when you're ready. Blocks come forward slightly. And then step to the outside of your left block. Toes are parallel to start. Take a halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Let the head go. Soften the knees, roll up to stand. Once you're here, reach your arms up. Exhale, arms and hands come back down. So let's take the hands to the waist. And now we'll take a malasana stance. So we'll take that wide-legged stance again, just outer width hip distance apart. Outer hip width distance apart. Turn the toes wider than the heels. Now from here, let's bring the hands to prayer. Press into the hands, find this energy and lift through your chest. Begin to bend your knees. Start to sit down into that squat prep. Right, once you come down, Just notice, are you going to come down all the way? If you're like, no, thank you, that's not for me, and you might take your blocks, create a little seat for yourself, and sit on your blocks instead. And once you sit down on blocks, widen your stance a little bit because we are trying to stretch through the inner groins. We want to feel a stretch from the inner knee to the inner knee. So if you're sitting on your blocks, widen your knees even more. And then bring your elbows inside the knees, press your palms together, use that as leverage, a point of connection, if you will, to lift your chest. Find that inspired lift. So let me show you without blocks. We bring the glutes all the way down, but we still feel connected into the feet. We still feel this inspired lift in your chest. Slow down the breath. Finish your next exhale. And then you might support yourself, hands on the floor if you want to challenge, pressing into the feet. We're coming back up to stand. Turn your toes in parallel, reach your arms up. Exhale, hands come down. We'll take an inhale, reach your arms up. We're starting to slow down now as you exhale. Take a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step your feet back. We'll find a downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. So spread your fingers. Feel the weight in your palms, your hand knuckle, especially your index knuckle, and your finger pads. Wrap your upper arm bones in and draw your shoulders back and away from your ears. And as you do this, bend your knees, lift your hip creases back, and lengthen your spine more. Stay for one more breath. And then slowly lower your knees down. So now we're in this tabletop pose. We'll be moving into Gomukhasana. So for Gomukhasana, you might need a block. We'll start off in this table pose, and then take your right knee forward. Take your left leg back. So we're going to lift this back knee up, pivot your right knee so that the right foot comes over to the left side, and then retuck your left knee in, and then start to snuggle your thighs in towards one another. This might take a moment, right? Snuggling in through your thighs, fully pressing in towards one another, and then take a look at your feet and try to get them even on either side. Do your best. So taking a look here, evening out my feet, and then my hands are firm. I'm going to start to rock back and forth in my hips. Getting into the hips here, and this might be where you are today. Just rocking forward and back as you squeeze your thighs together. If you'd like to take it a bit further, you'll take one of your blocks for your seat behind you, and as you lower back, coming to sit on that block. If you can sit on the floor, great. Come right down to the floor. So find your sits bones here. Really root down into the right hip bone. Stay up nice and tall. I'll bring the hands to prayer. Now let's move it into a twist. We're going to twist over to the right side. So on your next exhale, twist over to the right. Take your right hand to your low back. Your left hand will come to the thigh, and you'll use that as leverage to lift and twist. Now, if you're still on hands and knees, perfectly fine. You're just going to walk your hands over to the right and then press back from here. So creating nice length through the left side of your waist. All right, unwind. Shake it out a little bit, just releasing the upper body. And then rewind. Bring the hands forward. Unwind your legs. Take the knees wide. You might just circle out your hips. Just circle them out. When you're ready, center yourself and we'll do the other side. So this time your left knee is going to slide forward towards your hands. Lift your back knee up to give it space to pivot. So left foot comes over to the right side. And then drop your right knee down and begin to adjust yourself so that your thighs squeeze into each other. Take a look at your feet, even them out on both sides as best you can. And then from here we start to rock back and forth. Getting into the hips. Now you're staying here or you're using that block to come to sit. So if you are sitting, take a moment to adjust your legs. Get heavy in your left sit bone this time. Get tall through the spine. Bring your hands to prayer. We'll take it into a twist over to your left side now. We'll twist with the core. And then from here, take your left hand to your low back, right hand to your thigh. Right? Or if you're in your hands and knees pose, walk your hands over to your left side. Press your hips back. Lengthen the right hip crease back. Lengthen your left hip crease back. Finish your exhale. Let's unwind. If you're sitting, rewind. Bring your hands back to the floor, trying to support yourself forward. Untuck your knees. Widen your knees. Circle your hips out side to side. All right, let's find a comfortable seat. I'm going to sit on a block in a cross-legged pose, but you could sit in hero's pose on your shins. You could sit with your legs straight out. You could sit up against a wall. Find your comfortable seat, and then wherever you are sitting, find your sits bones. So as you rock back, right, you notice you're sitting more on the tailbone. We don't want that. We don't want rounding through the spine. We want that inspired lift. So we're going to rock the pelvis forward. Find the sits bones. The tailbone's almost like pointing just slightly behind your seat. It's not pressing into the floor. And then lift up through the chest, drop the shoulders down. Let your hands find somewhere to settle on your thighs. Find a symmetrical breath through both sides of your nostrils. Noticing what it feels like to breathe after that sequence. And if you can, let's take it into a samavriti, which means an even breath. So you will start to count your inhales and your exhales. And the idea here is that we are evening the breath. So counting to 4 or 5 as you inhale, but then keeping that same count as you exhale. I'd like to move us into a pranayama breath practice called Chandra Vedana, which translates to a moon-piercing breath. So we'll start making our mudra with your right hand. You'll take your peace fingers, so your index and middle finger together, they bend into your thumb. And then your ring finger and your pinky and your thumb are as straight as you can get them. Okay, palm facing up while I show you the breath. So moon-piercing breath. We are going to start with the thumb blocking the right nostril, and we inhale through the left side. And the idea here is that the left side is our Ida, our feminine side. So we breathe in through Ida and it crosses over to the right side of the brain, activating our feminine brain, our creativity, our introspection, our sense of mystery, right? This ability to connect with the inner happenings of the body. And as we exhale, we will block Ida and we breathe through the right side, Pingala, the masculine side. So we'll take a breath just to clear. When you're ready, take your mudra up to your face. Use your thumb, block your right nostril, inhale through the left side. Exhale, block left nostril. Exhale through the right nostril. So let's continue this breath. Block your right nostril. Inhale for your count of 4 or 5. Block the left. Exhale through right. So if your eyes are closed as you're breathing, you might imagine the breath sort of circulating up and around through that right side brain and out through your left side nostril. This is a cooling breath. We used our masculine energy to heat up the body, push through our practice. We're now taking this time for introspection and reflection, for cooling, for softness. Finish this last exhale. And then bring your mudra hand back down to your thigh. You can move the hands up the thighs again, just reconnecting to the sensation of touch. And then bringing the awareness back to the nostrils, breathing evenly through both sides. You might feel both channels, both Ida and Pingala now open and ready to receive the breath. On your next inhale, let's take the arms up, reach the arms up, palms together. Exhale, let your thumbs melt down into your sternum and press firmly into your palms. Feel that energetic lift through your chest, that pressing and parallel shape of the elbows side to side. As you connect to your heart space here, just taking a moment of gratitude. Thank you for this practice that has been passed down to me from this lineage, this wonderful lineage of teachers that have so graciously shared their knowledge with me so that I can share it with you. Thank you for this breath. Thank you for this mind. Namaste.